Imagine this. You partner up with someone, put in the work, secure big deals, only to have your partner drain the accounts overnight and disappear, taking everything and leaving you with a debt. It sounds crazy, right? Well, it happened to me. All because of one mistake. I chose the wrong partner. Hey everyone, I'm Hasnae Taleb, also known as the She-Wolf of NASDAQ. I'm a former NASDAQ trader, investor, entrepreneur, and a business advisor. I have built 5 startups, 3 of which were sold for a combined valuation of $88 million. I manage an advisory and asset management firm with a team track record of more than $3.8 billion in assets. Today, I help businesses and startups grow and reach their potential. But I had to learn some hard lessons along the way. Let me take you back to one of the toughest periods of my life. When I first moved into Dubai, a place where I barely knew anyone, and I was still trying to find my footing. I saw an opportunity to partner in an established business in the film industry. They had everything: a top-notch studio, state-of-the-art media facilities, and a very good team. What they didn't have was someone to really manage the business right, invest, and grow it. So it was a new industry for me, but the numbers looked good and the potential was there. And I wanted to finally have my own business. So I thought, if I put in the effort, learn about the industry, and connect the dots, I can make this work. So I made an offer, I invested in the business, and I dived in right away. I took on the challenge head first, networking like crazy, connecting the US to the UAE, and signing up bigger projects. I put in the hours, the energy, and the dedication, and I was committed to making it succeed. But there is something I haven't mentioned yet. I still remember my friend Mahmoud Lanjawi, who was there from the get-go. He was more like a brother to me, watching me take on this new venture. And Mahmoud saw red flags from the start. He told me to be cautious and protect myself from my partner, warning me that things didn't seem quite right, but I didn't listen. I had good faith in my business partner back then, treating him like family. I trusted him deeply, and I obviously never doubted his intentions. Little did I know, he was actually preparing a trap for me. Then after about a year or two, something I never expected happened. My partner at that time, someone I thought I could trust, decided to leave the country overnight. And not only did he leave the country, but he liquidated almost everything. He emptied the accounts, left me in debt, and simply vanished. The suppliers' checks started bouncing, and since I was the face of the business, the whole responsibility fell over my shoulders. And I was devastated. I felt betrayed, I felt stressed, and to be honest, I was traumatized. I had to work so hard to make this venture work, but in a single moment, everything I built was taken away. I was on the brink of a bankruptcy, facing debt in a country where I barely had any connections. I was almost back to square one, but this time with a huge financial burden on my shoulders. That experience left me completely drained and questioning everything. I remember many sleepless nights, wondering how I would ever recover. And at the same time, I knew I had no choice but to find a way out. So I started focusing on short-term wins, doing whatever I could to make quick revenue to pay back the suppliers and cover the debts that my partner had left behind. Slowly and step by step, I rebuilt, and I also knew one thing: I would never, ever make the same mistake again. And if you're thinking of going into business with someone, please learn from my story. Today, I want to share the 5 rules I learned from choosing the right partners. Steps that have helped me build successful ventures ever since. Rule number 1, trust is everything, and always look beyond the surface. What do I mean by that? When you start a new venture, it's easy to get excited and overlook the deeper stuff. It's not enough to trust someone with your money only. You need to trust them with your vision, with your brand, with your reputation, and most importantly, trusting your partner behind the business too. I learned this the hard way, and my mistake was I trusted my partner solely because of his experience and connections, and I thought that gave me everything I wanted without doing my proper due diligence and taking the time to understand who he really was as a person. What I realized too is that trust isn't about what someone has done. It's about who they are, what they stand for, and how do they make decisions. So it's all about trusting them behind the role and getting to know them on a personal level before you partner up with them and see if honesty, integrity, and shared values are there in the first place. Rule number 2, look at their track record and commitment. A partner's track record says a lot about their dedication and integrity. So look at their history, their past ventures, and the kind of commitments they bring into the table. Do they have a habit of jumping from one project to the next? Or do they see things through? If I had paid closer attention, I might have seen the warning signs that my partner didn't have the same level of commitment or staying power that I did. A good partner is someone who can weather the tough times, not just someone who sticks around when things are doing well. Rule number 3, set clear expectations and roles from day one. And that was actually one of my biggest mistakes I made, was not clearly defining our roles and responsibilities. When we went into the partnership, with my loose boundaries, which led to an imbalance, I ended up doing most of the heavy lifting while he slowly checked out. When you're starting a business with someone, make sure there is a clear understanding of who does what, who's responsible for what areas, and how decisions will be made. Because this avoids misunderstandings, frustration, and feeling like one person is putting in way more effort than the other. Rule number 4 is financial transparency, and this is non-negotiable because it's a very big one. Have everything in writing and make sure you have full visibility into the finances. Set up a joint account for business expenses, have regular financial reviews, and insist on transparency. In my case, my partner had complete access to the business funds, and when he decided to leave, he drained the accounts and left. I didn't have the structures in place to prevent that from happening, and it cost me a lot. And money can complicate any relationship, so protect yourself and make financial transparency a priority from the start. Rule number 5 is protect yourself legally and get everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything in writing. When you're starting a partnership, it's very tempting to think, we don't need contracts, we trust each other. But contracts aren't just for protecting against dishonesty. They are there to ensure fairness and accountability. If I had a more solid legal agreement in place, I would have had resource when my partner took the money and ran. Having everything in writing is one of the best ways to protect your interests and establish a foundation of accountability and trust. So if you're about to go into business with someone, I hope these lessons help you avoid the same mistakes I made. Starting a business is hard enough on its own. The last thing you need is to be let down by someone you trusted. So choosing the right partner isn't just about finding someone with skills or resources. It's about finding someone you can genuinely trust with your vision, your brand, and your future. That experience in Dubai nearly broke me. And it also made me stronger and more cautious. It taught me to never take partnership lightly, to protect myself, and to value transparency and commitment above all of these. Since then, I have gone on to build businesses with partners I trust deeply, and they have become some of the most rewarding experiences of my career. So if you're going through a tough time with a business partner, or if you're in the early stages of considering a partnership, please take a moment to think through these steps. They might just save you from the heartbreak and stress I went through. And if you got value from this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and comment below with any questions or topics you would like me to cover. And I'll be back next Sunday with another story and more insights. Thanks for watching.